Welcome everyone. So today we're going to talk about phone photography and natural light and how to use natural light in your favor when you especially use your phone. So no further ado, let's just dive in. As always, may the light always be in your favor. Yes, light is everything, especially in phone photography. Obviously, in photography in general, but phone photography, you have to be extra careful. And when you are working with natural light, it's essential to reconsider your light source all the time because sun is always moving. Sometimes it comes out of the clouds, sometimes it's on the clouds. So this is essential. Now we're going to dive into indoor natural light because we have outdoor and indoor. So for example, if you're at home, you're shooting in your kitchen or somewhere where it's a good light, then definitely search for window light. For example, I started shooting in my dark kitchen where were like no windows whatsoever. So at first my photos were looking dull and dark and sad. And then in the end of the day, I moved to my office where was way better light and big window. So what you have to do is that just stand next to the window and you can make magic out of it. And it's also super important, first of all, to switch off all the lights you have. I mean, like artificial lights, like which are on the ceiling or wherever you have them. And please, no flash photography. Yes, especially with phone. Please do flash photography. Use the natural light, turn off your flash, and you can make magic with this one. If you work with natural light, then it's so important to not use direct sunlight. Why? Because it has a harsh light and it's making the photos super overexposed, and even with editing you can't edit them out, and in the end of the day your highlights are clipping. By highlights clipping I mean that you have some overexposed areas that doesn't have any good data at all to have a good quality photo. What you can also do is that, for example, if you really have the harsh and direct sunlight, then what you can do is that you can use a professional diffuser or a white curtain or a white bed sheet. Just put it on top of the window, and especially when you're in somewhere in the south where it's like a lot of light, so then this one is super important because, for example, when I was working in the north, then we didn't have that much sunlight and it was almost always cloudy sky, so it was almost like a natural softbox. But when I moved to Australia or Portugal, then the light was so harsh that I almost always had to use a professional diffuser or a white bed sheet. The next thing that you always have to consider is say no to direct sunlight in the middle of the day, especially when you're working outside. So what you can do instead is that just move to the shade, and I'm sure you have enough light there as well. So outdoor natural light. Start playing around with golden hour. So golden hour is the magic hour what you have during the day, and it's a photographer's dream time. Almost all the photos you take are the best ever. So use the photographer's techniques also on your smartphone as well. So start shooting the photos hour with the sunset and sunrise. And another thing that I would highly recommend you to do is start observing the light. So when you go for a walk or you sit next to the window or wherever you are, start noticing how the light bounces to the object and how it's observing the light. And then start noticing which are the shades, like how the light cuddles you, and then you can train your eyes way better, and you have way more quicker options to get the light exactly as you want. And then again, like use the DSLR techniques that I mentioned as well, which are the diffuser, or also find the right location because the sun is always moving. So if you're planning to shoot somewhere, then observe the light before, like see how the sun moves there. Does it even have sun when it's the golden hour time, or maybe it's like some other time during the day that is super good for you. At the end of the day, without great lighting, there's no great photograph. So that's why it's so important to have these options there and use the light in your favor. What you can also do is you can manipulate the light. Yes, here, even though we're shooting with smartphone, we can manipulate the light with white, gray, blue, or dark boards. So what I mean by this one is that you can just even take a piece of paper and put it next to the subject, next to your smoothie bowl or whatever you're shooting, and the light in the end of the day bounces to the subjects as well. The same thing goes with reflectors, umbrellas, walls, and also pay attention to the surroundings. So for example, right now I'm wearing a red shirt, which is the worst thing ever you can do for photography because it's bouncing the light in a weird way. So also like I highly recommend you to use like neutral white or black or something like that while you shoot food as well. And then by white and gray dartboards, I mean it like this. So here on this photo, you can see the DSLR techniques that you can implement for smartphone as well. So here I wanted this dark mood. So what I needed to do is that just put few boards next to the food, and this one bounces the light back to the main subject, which is the cake and all the styling elements there. So where to put your subject during the natural shoot? So here it's super important to understand front, back, and open sky side light. We're going to dive deeper into these ones, but basically front light is, especially on golden hour lighting, is when the sun is behind the photographer and is directly hitting the subject. So front light will give you slightly flat look and shadows will be more pleasant to the eye as compared to the midday directional sunlight. Backlight is when the light is coming from behind the subject and can produce a beautiful glow around or even light flare. So when the sun is hitting the model's back from behind the trees or hill or whatever you're going to use next to your food as well, it will create most flattering, soft and dreamy shadows and tones. I personally like to use the window backlight for food photography, but definitely play around with outdoors as well when you shoot food. Like food doesn't always have to be in the kitchen, so play around with this one. And open sky sidelight is much softer than sun sidelight and creates lightning similar to side window light or like a big softbox as in a studio setting. So open sky offers super soft lighting, and especially when you have the cloudy sky. So here you can see the direction of light. As you can see, like where should you be or where should you not be, you can dive deeper into the direction of light because there's like some little things that you can play around and find your favorite, or for example, if you're shooting this burger here, then you don't always have to shoot like one angle. Just play around. Maybe some food it works better with one lighting, others with others. So have different options for for one subject. And again, side light is much softer than front light and creates lightning similar to the big softbox. And here, for example, we have an example here. So where is the light coming from? Da, 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 da. Have your guess here. And it's obviously from the side. So it's a little bit under, like not completely on the side, but a little bit like where's the arrow is. And just by scrolling on Instagram or wherever you look at food photos, start noticing where is the light coming from. And then by doing this one, you can train your eyes as well. So another example, where is the light coming from here? Da, 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 da. Have your guess here. And again, it's obviously from the side, and then on the right side and on the left side, it creates like a little bit shadows as well to make the photo even more interesting. And again, where is the light coming from now? Da, 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 da. Again from the side, but a little bit up, 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 up. And with the backlight, as always, the light is coming behind the subject. And the glow is magical, especially when you work with window backlight, it is magical. So for example, here, obviously the light is coming from the back and creates the glow, but here it's super important as well to have the white curtain there, because otherwise it would be overexposed. So on your phone, you also have to adjust the exposure, especially with backlight. So what you can also do is you can play around like this, that you do like different exposures. At first you focus on the window and then on the subject, and then usually on phones what you can do is that you hold the focus and then you pin up and down, and by this one you can create and adjust the exposure, which is super important. And in the end of the day, it doesn't matter how good your food is, it might still look bad because of lightening on the photo. So that's the thing, what you can make the magic out of phone photography is quite often behind the light, and you don't have that much technology as you have with the DSLR cameras. With phone, you are a little bit limited, so you have to be even more creative to manipulate the light, to work with the light, to train your eye, and in the end of the day, you can make magic with. And thank you for watching. I hope this was useful, and we will see you in the next one.